In this week's parsha, we have Yitzchak Avinu and Rivki Meinu davening for children. And it's interesting, we have now an opportunity to compare and contrast the davening of Avram Avinu, which we saw in a couple parshas ago, to the davening of Yitzchak Avinu that we see in this parsha. And it's interesting, when you compare them, they're very, very different. So, for example, we found that Avram Avinu davened for the city of Sodom, right? For the city of Sodom, when Hashem Yisbarach told him his plans of destroying the city, so Avram Avinu davened on behalf of the city. Now, when you compare that tefillah of Avram Avinu for the city of Sodom versus the tefillah of Yitzchak Avinu in our parsha, they're stylistically very different. The tefillah of Avram Avinu was Avram Avinu went in to daven in a very methodical, organized way, knowing in advance what his arguments would be. And every argument, so he made, Hashem Yisbarach, if there's 50 tzaddikim, you shouldn't destroy the city. And Hashem countered, there aren't 50 tzaddikim. And Avram Avinu plotted his way through that tefillah. And at the end of the day, when Hashem Yisbarach basically said the answer is no, Avram Avinu accepted that. Okay, the answer is no. What am I supposed to do? And the pasuk says that Avram Avinu, stopped davening, and that's it. And the city was destroyed. That's the tefillah of Avram Avinu. What's interesting, that the tefillah of Yitzchak, however, in this parsha is very different. It says in pasuk, in describing the tefillah of Yitzchak, is Vayetar Yitzchak l'neichach ishtai, that he prayed opposite his wife. But that word Vayetar is unique. What does the word Vayetar mean? So Rashi over there explains that the word Vayetar, it connotes it's trying to express a certain type of tefillah, which is one of constantly pushing, never backing down, never accepting the answer is no, even stubbornly refusing to accept the answer being no. Not only does it mean that stubborn persistence, it also has it also gives an expression or an impression of tachnunim, which is sort of an unprepared speech. It's just pouring one's heart out. So this is very interesting. What's these two different types of tefillahs? Avram Avinu, a more formal, structured tefillah where he accepts the answer is no. And then you have Yitzchak Avinu, an unstructured tefillah, which is persistent and keeps on moving and never accepts the answer being no. What's the difference between the two? Why did Avram Avinu daven in one way and Yitzchak the other? So Tzaddik HaKohen of Lublin answers, he says the following thing. He says, who was the first Jew? It's Avram Avinu. But who was the first Jewish child? That's Yitzchak Avinu, right? Yitzchak Avinu was the first person to be born Jewish. And here's the difference. Avram Avinu saw his relationship with Hashem predominantly as a king to a servant. The Gemara, in fact, tells us that the first person in history to call Hashem by the name Adonai, meaning my master, the king, it was Avram Avinu. Because Avram Avinu saw himself as a servant of the king, so therefore, when you speak to a king, when you speak to an employer, so it has to be in a structured, organized way. And if the king at the end of the day says no, the answer is no. But Yitzchak Avinu is the first Jewish child. And Yitzchak Avinu therefore saw himself not as a servant to the king primarily, he saw himself as a son of Hashem, as a child of Hashem. And as a child, he felt comfortable to speak his heart. And even if the answer is no, the child still makes his request further and still doesn't give up. And so from our parsha, we learn this new idea, this new way of davening, that if we can define ourselves, if we could see ourselves as banim l'makom, children of Hashem, and feel that comfort and that closeness to the Borei Olam, then that gives us the right to daven like children. And in other words, to daven in a way of persistence, in a way of chutzpah even, and of constantly barraging Hashem with davening tefillah after tefillah after tefillah, and never accepting a no until Hashem Yisbarach has to say, it's enough, okay, fine, take whatever you want. And if we're mechazik ourselves to have that relationship as children, then that's the tefillah that we're going to be able to offer up to Hashem. So Hashem should help. We should come into Shabbos with menuchas nefesh and menuchas guf, and both individually and collectively see the redemption of our people. Be as called tzedek meher v'meinu amen.
Thank you, Hashem.